Ed, let me start with you. I did not realize that there was a House Select Committee to study the Chinese Communist Party, and some members of that committee are going out this week to meet with, among others, Bob Iger and Tim Cook. Explain what they're going to be talking about.
So, I mean, the committee is, I think, relatively new. I think with the House transferring power over to the GOP, they've started to kind of formulate these committees to look specifically at what they consider big threats to the U.S. China is, of course, a threat that both sides, both Democrats and Republicans, have been looking at very carefully. The meeting, apparently, this big sort of trip out west is really just to kind of get a feel for what are you doing in entertainment? What are you doing in technology to give us the ability to compete better? Now, it just feels a little bit, it's very political, of course, but look, let's take a close look. We buy $500 billion worth of stuff from China every year, and they buy about $150 billion worth of stuff from the US. So it's not as if there isn't already a lot of interaction, a lot of trade, that kind of cooperation in a sense. But when it comes to intellectual property, like with movies, what's allowed, what's not allowed, when it comes to technology, of course, we all know what happened with Huawei, what's happening with TikTok now, and now with AI, of course. So, you know, there is a sense that, like, we need to be more strategic about how we're producing our goods, what we're selling to them, what we're not selling to them. So I think it's more taking the temperature than anything else. But clearly, I think the House, Congress definitely wants to take more pointed actions on these.
So, Jeff, let me turn to you. There's the tech trade, there's the China trade. Is it a both and either or? How do you navigate in this sort of difficult space?
Well, Tyler, it's all the above, and ultimately, what you see is the fact that we really have the opportunity to get some reconnaissance mission with this group that's going out to Hollywood. Salty a little bit here in Chicago that we didn't get the invite, but nonetheless, I think this helps us better understand where China's moving forward. And if you think about from a trading perspective, the last 3 years, the perspective, you look at China versus the S&P 500, China has dragged 75%. So that's why I think there's an opportunity actually here and now to have some exposure to China. I talked to a lot of our clients, a lot of our family office clients. This is the time when it feels the worst. And there's going to be implications moving forward with China due to Taiwanese president meeting out west in California as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to say now, listen, you shouldn't overthink the fact that the Taiwanese president is coming here, President Tsai, that, you know, we get visits from top Taiwan officials all the time. So China, just be calm. I'm looking at this from the perspective of a group of companies that I cover in Macau, that the ratcheting up of tension between China and the United States becomes very nail-biting for the companies that need and want to do business in China.
It's not just that. If you put all those dots together, what it comes down to, Contessa, is that ratcheting tension. This is just the latest of it, right? Because it wasn't that long ago we were talking about spy balloons, right, and shooting those things down. Those were from China. And by the way, to tie it into the business angle, it's not just about those casino operators that have a lot of operations in Macau. If you look specifically at the Hollywood angle of this, the number of Chinese production companies that have either bankrolled or invested heavily in some of the biggest blockbuster movies that have been released over the last 10 or 15 years is huge. So do you still want to have those investments from those production companies to bankroll some of these large Hollywood operations? Or do you want to look a little bit more about whether or not you can wean yourself off of them? I'm going to be very curious to hear what these big media CEOs actually say about it, and certainly what somebody like Tim Cook does, because it's the intersection of tech and media and telecom and everything else.
Let's talk a little bit about that artificial intelligence arms race that's caught the attention of business leaders Elon Musk and Jamie Dimon, as well as President Biden. Here's what the president said about the benefits and the risks of AI yesterday at the White House.
We're going to discuss the opportunities and the risks of artificial intelligence. AI can help deal with some very difficult challenges like disease and climate change, but also have to address the potential risks to our society, to our economy, to our national security. Tech companies have a responsibility, in my view, to make sure their products are safe before making them public.
Jeff, how much do you think that the CEOs of some of these big tech companies are going to have to keep addressing the potential risk and reward of AI?
I think it's going to be persistent, Contessa, and absolutely. Jamie Dimon talked about AI. It's going to be a part of our life. It is a part of our life. And as we continue to see the development, the evolution of AI, I think we have to realize it's a double-edged sword. He talked about the bad characters that are going to be in this space, but also I think there's a lot of positivity coming out of AI. But when we talk about the trade, when I look through all the noise, because there's going to be a ton of noise, I think semiconductors by themselves will continue to grow and evolve. And if you think of semiconductors, a $400 billion space, that's going to grow at 55%. That's projections.